The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Very good evening and welcome to Chester for the second week of the round of 16 action here in the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018. We are in the Riley's Bar ready for tonight's action. 3 games coming your way and the 2 last 16 matches as follows. Drew Hughes up first against Liam Dunster, and then it's an all-English tie between Mark Pickworth and Gavin Robinson to decide who will face the winner of that first game. So very much looking forward to this one. And Liam Dunster arriving around 20 minutes ago, but he looks very relaxed indeed ahead of this one. Incidentally, the only seed coming in to tonight's action as well. So it really is an open pool for everybody coming into tonight. Jonathan Bell with you, and alongside me I'm delighted to say is the chairman of IPA, Kev Barton, who yourself had to beat the traffic in order to be here in time. Kev, how do you assess tonight's games?
Well, I think we're in for some great action as usual. 4 great players who fully deserve their place in the last 16. Without a doubt, on paper the favourite is Liam Dunster, who, as you say, has had a bit of a rush to get here, so yeah, it may just take him a couple of frames to settle down, but he's a pretty unflappable character, so I'm not sure it'll affect him too much. Qualification, he's completely different play to Liam. Fast, wants to attack, and you know, capable of some incredible shot play, which we saw in the deciding frame of his match against Neil Raybone. So yeah, I think this is going to be a cracking match, and the second semi-final, 2 relative underdogs, but great players in their own right. And yep, sit back, relax, and enjoy the action.
Absolutely, and of course, first to 6 frames. Good start already for Drew Hughes there, managing to get the yellow in. Drew Hughes qualifying for tonight with a win in week 10 in Chester. He beat Rab Fee in the first round 6-5, and by the same scoreline managed to defeat Neil Raybone as well, just showing how tight this competition has been so far. But he's going for the yellows in this first frame, and helping for a strong start.
Yeah, Drew, over the last few months, he's come into some pretty impressive form, playing a lot more confidently, and that was reflective in his qualification night, as you say, in week 10. And you know, he's had the perfect start here in this frame, which, you know, as we say week in, week out, you know, it's really important that to get that first frame on the board. And he's had a superb break, and you know, looking good for a pretty quick break and dish to get his account underway.
You do get the feeling we might see a few of these sort of frames tonight. Of course, the standard getting higher and higher as the weeks progress.
Yeah, this has worked out pretty well for Drew, taking them out really confidently, and just this simple black, and he's off and running.
Easy as that. Drew Hughes off the mark then. 1 frame to 0 ahead. And I don't think you can ask for a better start, really, in a game of this magnitude. And you can see his route to recent form generally over the course of the last few months. See that defeat there to Neil Raybone. Well, he certainly turned that around when it came to the IPA Freesports Champions Cup in that second round in Chester in week 10. Neil Raybone, I mean, that was a bit of a shock, really, that Raybone fell to the sword there of Andrew Hughes, so it shows that he can be the underdog and come out on top.
Yeah, he's, you know, all these Welsh players, they're all tremendously talented. It's something in the DNA in that country, and that was a superb performance to beat one of the pre-tournament favourites in Neil Raybone. And whilst his results on paper don't look, you know, much of a muchness, I can assure you his form over the past 3 or 4 months is certainly on the up. And you know, in that opening frame, we've already seen the signs of that.
Yeah, it's certainly a case of players raising their game in front of the cameras, of course, and his competition as well.
The shot Drew played in the deciding frame against Neil Raybone, probably shot of the tournament, probably so far, and it was the shot that got him through to tonight.
So one of each colour going in there for Liam Dunster. Just looking over that choice there of which colour to actually go for.
Yeah, not a great choice, and no obvious opening pot. Possibly tempted to try and double this red on the left rail. It's near the baud line. Not much else to go at there.
It's called his extension, which I think just highlights how much of a difficult decision this is. And even earlier on in the game, an important one as well.
Yes, in these race to sixes, so important to not let your opponent run away with the match. And that was a really good shot there from Liam.
Yeah, very smart indeed. And one thing you mentioned before, Kev, is the contrast between the two players. And we do like to scratch beneath the surface a bit with the players that take part in this Champions Cup. And yes, the players, 3 words to describe themselves. Drew Hughes, he was passionate, determined and fiery. Liam Dunster, calm, quiet and patient. Couldn't be much more of a contrast, really.
Absolutely, yes. But both great players in their own right. And so whilst it was a great pot from Liam, he's still got work to do. You can see this red and yellow that well, he's it's good news, bad news. The good news is he glanced the red. He almost went in off, but fortunately the white stayed up, and he's still at the table. But I think that red now goes into the right corner.
This frame certainly with a much different complexion to the first. Right. Drew Hughes was on the table like a flash, just mopping away. But Liam Dunster really having to grind this one out.
He's a little bit betwixt and between there. Probably would have liked to have run that white up another 12 inches to give himself the choice of the right hand red into the right corner, or an easy shot for the red into the top right corner. So he's having to take the more difficult of the 3 now. Played it absolutely superbly. The hard work is almost done in this frame. We put the one into the top right corner, then probably just screw the white back around about a foot, just to drift this red into the right corner and leave a nice easy black into the left middle. Played to perfection again. And this routine black. It's a little thin, but it's not going to cause him any problems. There it goes. Back-to-back break and dishes for these two players.
Yeah, certainly a different story for both of those break conditions there. Drew Hughes, everything just seemed to align perfectly for him. Not so much the case with Liam Dunster, but the Scotsman has leveled things back up again at 1 apiece. Very much nip and tuck this. As we look at Liam Dunster's recent form as well.
Yeah, we can see from that graphic just how consistent Liam's been over the past 12-18 months. Every tournament he plays in is there or thereabouts, and one tournament that's not showing on that graphic is the World Series event in France, which he won, his first professional title. That he beat Mark Farnsworth in the final, and it was a great performance. So yeah, he's been a pro for a couple of years now, and really starting to make his mark in the pro ranks.
The thing about Liam Dunster, he's the most recent winner to qualify for this round of competition in week 15. And those here tonight, in between weeks 10 and 15 qualifying, I think that gives them a little bit of freshness compared to those who may have qualified in the earlier rounds of competition.
It's an interesting point, and you know, we saw Scott Gillespie last week, who was our week 16 winner, and he came through. He was playing the following week, which was last week, and you know, he came through that. So maybe there is a bit of advantage there. Although you know, Scott was in great form anyway. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think it's very easy to read into things like that. Everyone's slept since then, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Another great break from Drew. Giving himself a great opportunity to reply with another breaking dish. I mean, standard we're seeing tonight so far, it's impeccable. Just a little bit thinner than he would have liked, but I think he can still screw across and miss the black just to leave the white on the left-hand rail. He played it a little bit harder, brought the white out, played that really well. Again, just showing the confidence that that Drew's playing with at the moment. This is a little tricky one. If he's just going to drop it in and try and play for the gap between the two reds, or is he going to try and be a bit more adventurous and bring the white down for the black into the right corner, which he's done. He's probably now going to take it into the centre, but he's not wasting any time. That looks close, and that's back-to-back finishes. What a match we're seeing.
Well, it's supreme confidence, isn't it, from Drew Hughes, the way he's going around it like a rocket at the moment.
But this is what he does best, you know, just gets down and works to finish it out, get down, play the shot, and not worry about anything else. And you know, it's great to watch. It's great when it works for him.
Well, he looks like he's certainly enjoying it right now. Liam Dunster with more of a poker face, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Liam will be smiling as much as Drew unless he wins tonight. He might break into a little bit of a smile, but yeah, Liam will just be focusing on this next frame. Knows he's in a match already. what a match. 3 frames, 3 breaking dishes. I mean, it just cannot get any better than that.
Sort of applies even more pressure though, doesn't it? Because already we can find out now that a mistake can really change the tide of this game. I thought that would be the case anyway, but with the start that has been made from both players, it really shows the importance of ensuring every shot is firm and true, of course accurate enough to keep up momentum. So far momentum with Drew Hughes, but Liam Dunster can once again reply, make it 2 apiece. I don't think this is a welcome delay in proceedings. Seems happy.
Guys just making sure that the racks are absolutely 100% perfect. It's arguably the most important shot of the frame, so you want to make sure all those balls are touching, make sure they get the best possible split. Where's that white head in? Oh, well, he's putted a red. I mean, he was lucky not to put the white as well. I mean, that white was heading that direction, got a bit of a nudge, but somehow didn't go in.
Certainly in terms of breaks so far, I think Hughes has had the upper hand. Dunster making life difficult. Certainly the pool gods at the moment doing that for him.
Yeah, and again, if Liam wants to stay with the best balls, he's going to have to put another big shot. In the last frame he had to pull out a great double, and in this one he's going to have to pull out another long red into this bottom right hand corner. He can go for the easy yellow, of course, but you know, he's got that yellow tied up near the centre bag. He's got another one on the left hand rail, so ideally he wants reds, but like I said, he's got a really difficult opener.
Well, it's the 2nd frame in a row that Liam Dunster has broke and calls for the extension, which says all you need to know, really. And again,
what a great opening pot there from Liam.
He's managing once again to work his way out of these difficult situations.
And he's a little bit unlucky. He's nudged into the yellow and it's sort of blocked his path to the red, sort of in the centre of the table. So again, nothing easy for him. In the back of his mind, he will also know that you know, Drew is in some pretty red hot form, and you know, any mistake, you know, could be 3-1 down in the blink of an eye.
Well, indeed, he's gone for the safety. I was just about to ask Kev. Of course, pool players are always confident that they can go out there and pot every ball that is on the table, but when does it come to a point in a game of this magnitude where you do say, look, maybe I'm going to have to invite my opponent onto the table and see what he can do instead? And obviously he's been pushed over the edge there, Liam Dunster, to do it early on.
Yeah, but you know, the nature of the game and the nature of the rules, that he didn't really have much choice. He had to attack, because he knows that he didn't really have any fallback position, and you know, that's why he took the long red on, potted a great shot, and then tried to pot his red off the yellow and just misjudged it, and you know, he's left Drew a chance. Although Drew's got the challenge of the yellow that's tied up, but one good shot to move it, and the frame's at his mercy again. I think he's got the angle to put this one into the corner and screw back into that cluster. Maybe a little wide, but on these cloths, because they're so grippy, you can create angles that normally you wouldn't be able to.
Has he got a bit closer to that than he would have liked?
He certainly has. It's not going to stop him. He's still going to keep attacking. Misses the shot. So he's developed the yellow. If he can get on that into the right corner, that is a bonus. He's going to try and spin it in with a lot of right-hand side to bring the white off a couple of cushions. Heading towards the blue spot. Looks good. Looks very good.
He seems to really be enjoying it out there right now, Drew Hughes. And this should be a very simple task to take it 3-1.
Well, I think Drew Hughes is in a rush. Must be on car parking ticket, must be due, because he's not wasting any time, playing absolutely superbly. Not missed a shot, not even looked like missing a shot. And 3 chances, 3 dishes, 3-1 ahead.
You can see that he's trying to look as though he's keeping calm in his chair, but he must be buzzing after this start to the match. 3-1 ahead. Really felt that that was the one there where the pendulum was pretty neutral, and it's really swung in his favour now.
Yeah, that one error from Liam has been duly punished, and Liam knows he's got a battle on his hands. Can he get a shot on the Drew Hughes break? That's going to be the going through Liam's mind now, because if he doesn't, then he can't win this match. He's somehow got to break the serve, as it were, of Drew Hughes twice now in this match, if he's going to progress through to tonight's quarter-final. Just as we say that, Drew comes up dry. And here's Liam's chance to get right back in this match. That's how things can turn around so quickly in this game. You can never relax. You can be 3-1, 4-1 ahead, and literally only get 1 or 2 shots more, and you're on the way home. Time's running out, and he's had his extension.
I think Liam Dunster will be waiting for the moment where he gets a break, where he can actually mop things up. Every single one, he seems to have been thrown straight into the cement and has to crawl out of it.
That's right. The danger is that if he doesn't take his chances, Drew is just going to continue attacking him. And despite, the red that's near the 2 yellows, that obviously looks a problem. Interesting shot from Liam. Just playing a bit of containing safety there. But I can see Drew attacking this straight away, and that's what he did. And unfortunately, he's played a foul shot. He was looking to put that red in the corner and screw into that cluster. I'm surprised he missed the pot, to be honest, the way he's been queuing.
Well, maybe that parking ticket was too much at the forefront of his mind there with that shot. The right shot to play for you in that position?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. It's the way he plays. He's wanting to keep attacking, and So yeah, absolutely the right shot. And like I say, I'm surprised he missed the pot the way he's seeing the ball tonight.
It's the first time Liam Dunster can really bring things under control with the shot there, of course, to set himself and to play what he will hope the remainder of this frame. We'll see him drag it back to within one again.
Just needs to make sure that when this plank goes in, that the yellow just doesn't sit on the red and makes it so that he can't pot it. That's really clever. Played it off the red. There's a couple of ways he could have played that shot, and that was probably the best one. So pretty simple screw back. Just drop this one in the left middle and the black in the bottom right, and all of a sudden we're back on serve again.
Well, no surprise at all as to how close this game has been so far. It is Drew Hughes leading by 3 frames to 2, but it could have been so much better for the Welshman. Stats at the end of that 5th frame there. And of course, the Welshman really getting off to the perfect start. Liam Dunster biting back, and you just wonder, of course, coming into this game as the favourite, now he's coming from a losing position. Does that relieve the pressure somewhat going into the second half of this game? We'll find out very shortly. We'll be back in a few moments' time after the breaks for the remainder of this first game of the night here in Chester.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Chester. It's the IPA Freesport Champions Cup 2018. And in the first game of the night, Drew Hughes up against Liam Dunster in the round of 16 competition. The winner going through to the quarter-final, which we'll have at the end of the night. So this man leading the way at the moment, 3-2. Still looking in pretty relaxed fashion, isn't he, Kev? But just wondering if just before the break there was a bit of a turning point. Liam Dunster getting back within one, and could that change the complexion of the tie?
Well, we're going to find out the next 15-20 minutes or so. It was a surprising miss, and but you know, that's the way he plays. It's ultra aggressive. You know, Liam had played a containing safety and basically said, "There you go, Drew. You have a go at them." And he's not going to turn down that opportunity. And yeah, it was a bit unlucky. You know, another day may have potted it. Unfortunately, he didn't. I don't think he's going to worry too much about it. You know, he's looking relaxed. He knows he's playing well, and he's just going to keep attacking all night until you know, until the fat lady is sung.
Well, for Liam Dunster, will it be third time lucky to get a break that he may favour?
Yeah, and the game's funny sometimes. You know, Liam's just hung in there. His break hasn't been great. He's pulled out some excellent shots, and you know, we see so often how it eventually turns round. You know, was that Drew's missed opportunity to go 4-1 up in this match? And as we say, we'll find out his fate over the next 15-20 minutes. But that's a lot better break from Liam. And the thing about Liam, he's so solid. You know, he very rarely makes any mistakes, and you know, it's just hard to not see him taking this clearance out the way he's playing at the moment.
Extension called.
So Liam's chosen reds, and like I said, the way he's playing, I just can't see him making any mistakes. It's these sort of clearances that sort of meat and drink to Liam. Why he's won you know, a fair bit of silverware over the last couple of years. Just goes about his business with ruthless efficiency. Good atmosphere in the club tonight. It just went out in the interval into the arena, and it was really buzzing in there tonight.
Very colourful scene as well, isn't it, with Chester, with all the World Cup nations flags being draped down from the ceiling. It is that time of year. Of course, the World Cup will be full flow when we get to finals day for this Champions Cup 2018. A reminder, of course, the 2nd of July in Solihull. 4th of July, should I say, in Solihull. Live on Freesport TV.
Yeah, unfortunately, the clash of the World Cup with our event, so we've had to tweak finals night. So Mondays become Wednesdays for the final.
And next Monday has, of course, become Tuesday as well. Even more pressure on the England team not to let us down. Not that these two will care.
Yeah, let's remind that next week we're coming to you from Solihull on Tuesday, not Monday, due to the England match. We didn't want to steal the limelight from England's World Cup campaign, so we thought we'd let them have their own way.
You just feel this is the frame where Liam Dunster can just relax a little bit more. It has felt a little bit tense in the first two frames that he has won so far.
Yeah, two ways he can play this one. He can either just roll it up into the top corner pocket, or he can screw it into the right middle. Does go in the middle. It's just whichever way he feels. So it looks like he's just rolling into the top corner. I like the white a little bit further off the cushion, but not expecting him to miss this black. Pretty much straight in. Right in the middle of the pocket. Levels things up at 3-all.
Solid frame there from Liam Dunster. I'll call that tie once again. So we've got some of the previous strokes for Drew Hughes coming through 6-5, 6-5, two occasions. Rabfi and Neil Raybone in the qualifying round here in Chester. Of course, there were 2 weeks in a row here in Chester, week 9 and week 10. This the third of them, and the last one as well.
Yes, as you said earlier, Drew came through two final frame thrillers. First against Rabfi, and then against Neil Raybone, where he produced that sensational shot in the last frame.
He's managed to knock in a red there, but that white seems to be a bit of traffic.
Yeah, his last couple of breaks certainly been completely different to his first two breaks. First two breaking dishes. Dry in his last break, and these haven't spread at all, really. I'm not sure if that red just to the right, the yellow just to the right of the yellow, of the white even, goes into this corner pocket. He's looking at a 3-ball plan, which if he can make it, does open up the frame. He's fooled us all, and he's decided to go for reds. You sort of sense that this is a really key frame. We know Drew's not going to be holding back on anything, but what he doesn't want to do is push the boat out a bit too far and then make it easy for Liam.
I don't think that's what he wanted. I'm not quite sure if he's going to make that red there that he I think was aiming for into the top right as we look at it now.
So I think he'll look to clip this. No, he's going for the long one. Oh, he's cued that so well. What a great shot that is there from Drew Hughes. The positional shot was absolutely top draw. use those 3 yellows near the black as a guide. That is a great shot.
Well, even Liam Dunster there tapping his knee in appreciation. Drew Hughes has shown that, yes, of course, break conditions are all well and good. You can stick it out in there as well.
He's just got into that one a little bit too much, bit of adrenaline there. But the black looks good. That was a superb clearance there. I mean, the break was messy to say the least, and he's taken out a high quality finish there on reds. That is quality. You can see there the 2 final framers that Drew came through to get through to tonight. Is he going to have a third on the trot? I won't put it past him. I think these 2 are both in great form, and I think this has got final frame written all over it for me.
Definitely, and I think that just highlights he's been in this position before, so it won't faze him in that respect. And against a high calibre opponent, of course, as well in Neil Raybone, so it's not something too new to Drew Hughes, but 4-3 up now. And you will be hoping that this time he can solidify that cushion.
Yeah, so the pressure now on Liam, and this break, so important that he pots from the break and at least gives himself a chance. If he goes dry and leaves the table at open for Drew, then 5-3, he's going to have all on to come back. That white's heading to the bag, and it's been kicked in. Well, he's threatened to do that on 3 occasions in this match, and the other 2 he got away with, but this time he didn't.
Well, he's drove at that with some real venom, of course, just wanting to open the pack up. But he will be kicking himself if Drew Hughes can capitalise. You'd imagine he will be able to because of the spread of the balls here.
Yep, he'll just use his first visit, I suspect, just to develop. I think he'll be going for reds. I think he'll just look to develop. Really just opening the red up, and really he's only got 1 red that he needs to really think too much about, and that's the one at the left of the table as we look. But we'll see shortly if that goes into the right centre. If it goes in the right corner, sorry, then it's a great chance. Yeah, I think that just squeezes past. I think he'd like to get right behind it though. He wouldn't want to leave much of an angle on that, but it does go. It's noticeable how Drew has just slightly slowed down. He knows the importance of this frame. This could put him 1 away from tonight's final. Doesn't want that to. Oh, it's gone wrong. He just wanted to hit that yellow full in the face, so it would have left him the red into the corner bag. But we know it goes in this this bottom left corner. Or we think it does. And now this break is becoming a lot more difficult. This is a big shot. got the pot, but forgot about the white. The white kissed into the red. And now he's got to pull out a big double and get position on this final red. This is not easy. He's got the double, the white's coming round. And he's been a little bit unlucky, although he was asking a lot. Great double. Just needed to miss that yellow and he probably would have been on it. He pulled out a massive shot in his previous round against Neil Raybone. Can he do that again? He was asking a lot there. He was looking for some divine intervention really on that one. Not left Liam much, just a little snooker from Liam.
Yeah, I think you'd still rather be in Hughes' position at the moment. But this is, as you mentioned earlier, Kev, such a contrast to 20 minutes ago when he was flying around the table.
Yeah, it was nuts. Well, he took a lot longer with that finish, knew the importance.
Another ambitious one there as well.
Yeah, and Liam's going to be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief now. He knows this frame is completely in his control. And the perfect opportunity to tie things back up at 4-all and make it a best of 3. Liam taking no risks, just covering that bag and just trying to neutralise, as it were, Drew's red. I think there's some players who maybe would have played a different shot. You know, those 2 yellows went. You know, they could have maybe picked the white up and just developed the one near the balk line and then just proceed to take the finish out. But Liam has his way. And a very successful way it's been the last couple of years.
Must be pretty frustrating as well for Drew Hughes right now. It's a long time to sit in that chair, isn't it, and just keep replaying that moment back again and again in your head until you're back to the table.
Yeah, Liam's going to make sure he doesn't forget it. Pretty good positional shot there from Liam. He'll punch those in at the right speed. Don't think the black's going to hamper him too much. Lining up every shot meticulously. Just a long straight yellow. looking to probably screw back maybe 18 inches and just leave a nice easy plant. No, it's just going to play the one over the rail first, over the pocket. Could play this a couple of ways, could screw it back, could play it up the left-hand rail, just whichever he prefers, whichever gives him the least amount of risk. And that's absolutely fine. So it looks like we're heading to 4-all. Once Liam just finishes off this frame. And it'll be a mighty relieved Liam Dunster after he went in off the break. But he got the chance, and he's back level at 4-all.
Well, by his own admission, Liam Dunster says he's patient, and slow and steady certainly won the frame there. Just, I think, really pushing the point home how important that frame was. And it's probably the tightest game he's been in so far. You can see them results. Round 1, Mark Fleming disposed of him 6-2 pretty comfortably. Mark Boyle 6-4. This may be the first time Liam Dunster's gone all the way to an 11 framer.
Yeah, that was a tough group that Liam came through a couple of weeks back up in Scotland. Really tough field there, and great victory over Mark Boyle, 6-4 to take his place in tonight. So he's going to be confident coming into tonight, which he obviously is, and has demonstrated that. And, 4-all, he's going to be, I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. I think, you know, Drew's had the chances, and for Liam to be still in at 4-all, I think he'll be fairly pleased about that, and he's going to be coming back to the table again.
Well, the wheels beginning to slightly fall off for Drew Hughes. I mean, we talk about, Kev, it's only a race to 6 frames, but so much can happen in that time in a relatively small match. The emotions Drew Hughes has gone up and down through so far in this game. And at the moment, he's probably at his lowest, you would argue, and Liam Dunster reciprocating that at his peak.
Yeah, and Drew's certainly not smiling now. Yeah, shaking his head, can't believe that 2 of his last 3 breaks have been dry, and yeah, he certainly not smiling as much now. But you know, it's only 4-all. It's still there's still a long way to go. Plenty more twists and turns, I suspect, over these next 2 or 3 frames.
Well, don't forget, Liam Dunster has not yet been in front in this game. But this is the best possible opportunity to do so. Doesn't matter when you go in front, as long as you've got your 6 at the end of your name. By the end of it, that's all that matters.
It is. I'd rather win the last 6 than the first 5. This is a little awkward. Yellow just hampering his cueing a bit. But as we see time and time again, Liam is just so solid under those situations. And again, the way he's playing, just can't see him making any mistakes. And that could ultimately be the difference between these 2 players tonight. And by nudging that red just above the centre bag, it makes that absolutely perfect to be his last ball. So he'll look to pop that and then that takes him nicely down towards the black into this bottom left-hand corner.
We speculated at the start of the game that it may take a while for Liam Dunster to settle into this one. I think the fact that Drew Hughes was first up to the table, got the break and dish, and managed it again on his second trip to the table as well, really put the pressure on the Scotsman. But you feel he's come out of the worst of the storms. And we've saying this now, there's still a bit to go. Drew Hughes could really flip this on its head, but momentum seems to be with the man at the table at the moment.
He certainly does, and you know, I think Liam may well feel that he's weathered the Drew Hughes storm, and he's looking like taking a 5-4 lead. Did you say first time that he will be being ahead in this match, and it's going to be Liam's break, and he's going to be hoping that Drew has played his last shot in this match.
It is all beginning to click for the Duster, and he now leads by 5 frames to 4. And Andrew Hughes will be hoping that he'll get at least one more shot at the table. It could be unlikely.
Well, Liam's had 2 breaking dishes of his own, and Drew's had 3, but more importantly, Drew's had 2 dry breaks, and whilst Liam's had 1 foul from the break, he's potted every time. So he's been a lot more consistent, and that is pretty much his middle name.
We mentioned calm, patient and quiet down at the bottom there. A little bit of a contrast to the name above it, Conor McGregor, I think, but certainly the way he plays at the table, Liam Dunster, you can see those characteristics in his play.
Yeah, this was updated a while back, so I think his best victory may well have changed. He's had some big wins since then, and yeah, first memory of playing pool, standing on the box to reach the table. I don't know if he still needs that box these days, but yeah, he's certainly come a long way since those days. And as you said, nicknamed the Duster. Favourite football team, Arsenal.
No comment. What's going through Liam Dunster's mind right now? You're 1 frame away from making the quarter-finals of this competition. You've come through a bit of adversity to get to this stage. What is the mindset?
Well, I think he's going to be absolutely buzzing. He's weathered the storm. You know, Drew's had 3 breaking dishes, and but yet Liam's still 5-4 up. So he's got this break. All he'll be hoping for is that he can hear that plopping noise. And wow, he's well, he's tried it with the other cornerback this time. I mean, I thought for all the money that white was in, I thought that if it wasn't, the red was going to nudge it in. It didn't, and now he's got a chance to put his name in tonight's final.
Well, you may have just spotted Drew Hughes top left of your screen. He's got his arms crossed now, but as that white ball flirted with the top right pocket there and missed, just seemed to flop his arm in the air to say, what can I do about that?
Yeah, absolutely. His arms folded, body language not good. I think he's fearing the worst. Well, there's still a bit to do here. These are not gimmies by any stretch. I think Liam will want yellows, but I think the only yellow he's got is if he plays the plant, red onto yellow. If he plays that red may block this the yellow nearest the red into that pocket. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve. So he played the plant well, so now he's just got to play this yellow off the red, which will then hopefully free up that bag for the yellow that's currently blocked. And this shot will be the key to frame and match. It's quite a thin clip back, it's not straightforward. The white's going to be running a little bit free. But that's absolutely perfect. And little tap on the leg there from Drew. I think he knows what's coming.
Drew Hughes may be wondering what more he could have done. Of course, we mentioned a couple of dry breaks, but got the 3 break and dishes and the clearance to make it 4-3 as well. We seem to think it was him then on the home straight, but immediately pegged back by Liam Dunster, punishing Drew Hughes' miss when it was at 4-3. And that is how quickly it can change.
Drew's going to be he's going to be a little bit frustrated. He probably was it the 5th frame that, when Liam went in off. I think that was probably the turning point, and we asked the question when we came back from the break if that was going to come back to haunt him a little bit, and it probably has done with hindsight. Such fine margins, you know, these top guys, very little between them, and it's a missed pot here or a little nudge there that can sometimes be the difference. You know, if it had gone 4-1 to Drew, you know, you could have been interviewing him maybe 10 minutes ago as to, you know, if he was looking forward to tonight's final and who we thought he was going to be playing, but unfortunately, in 2 shots' time, he will be eliminated from the competition, and Liam Dunster will take his place in the final.
Well, just the 1 black to go for Liam Dunster, and it will be then job done. And there it is, he will be back in the quarter-final later today. A superb contest, first and foremost, Kev, we have to say, but Liam Dunster really clawing his way through that. Not the ideal start for him, but he has managed to make it 6-4, the most important score there at the bottom of your screen. And we'll be getting reaction from the Scotsman very shortly indeed after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Chester, where we've just completed game 1 of the night on the second week of round 16. Liam Dunster defeating Drew Hughes by 6 frames to 4. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Liam now. Liam, a very tight game, but in the end you got there. Cool and calm it seemed. How do you feel?
The complete opposite. I'm not calm and cool. Well, I am just not right now. Obviously, that's been the quarter-final now. But yeah, happy to be there. Yeah.
It seems to be a very tough start to the game for you. Drew really seemed in his element. Do you feel as though it took quite a while for you to get your game going, or was it more down to Drew?
It was more just to do with him breaking condition. That's how he got the lead. He was breaking condition, and then I was breaking condition back. Actually, he was breaking condition. He was always just one frame ahead or something. But no, I knew that I just had to keep on punishing his mistakes, and then that's what I done.
You were the only seed here tonight out of the 4 contenders. Did you feel any extra pressure because of that?
Not really, no. They're all top players, all professionals here, so no, I wouldn't say I feel extra pressure, no.
And of course, we've still got one game coming up later on between Mark and Gavin. Any particular ones that you'd favour in the quarter-final tonight?
Not at all, no. Either of them, that'll be fine.
Well, congratulations once again. Well done. Good luck for the quarter-final. Let's have a look at how you got there. So there we saw there Liam Dunster winning that game against Drew Hughes, 6 frames to 4. Second game of the night coming up between Mark Pickworth and Gavin Robinson. I'm delighted to say Liam has now joined us in the commentary box ahead of this one. 2 Englishmen going head to head. You said, Liam, that you'd faced Gavin before, but Mark, someone that you've never met at the table.
Yeah, obviously I've met Mark Pickworth before a lot of times. I talked to him quite a lot, but I've just never actually faced him on the beds. And yeah, I've played Gavin Robinson a few times. I think he's beat me once, and I've beat him maybe twice or something.
And what can you tell us about the way Gavin goes out there and plays? 2 pretty tight games for him in Sheffield, 6-4 against Jamie Clark and then 6-4 against Craig Brown to get to this point.
Yeah, Gav Robinson is, I don't think he'll mind me saying, he's absolutely crazy. He just goes for everything, and if you watch him play, he doesn't look like he's going to finish anything. He's just like, he twitches his balls in, and then he just seems to finish it. It's just the way he goes about. The way he goes about finishes is just mental.
Yeah, just speaking to his dad beforehand as well. And he has a pub up in the northeast, which is actually how Gavin got into playing pool. He was originally a snooker player up to the age of 16. Quite a good one at that as well, but just didn't quite feel as though it was the sport for him. And then his parents opened the pub once more, set up a pool team, and Gavin seems to have shone ever since. But you've seen him was playing a game on Saturday night. Won't go too much into the details, but I think he's still feeling the effects of it today. Wasn't a game that he managed to win, but of course he'll be saving his best form for this one against Mark Pickworth. Not the ideal start, really.
Yeah, I noticed no people tonight will be side breaking. I noticed a lot of people in other weeks seem to, that when they hit the second ball down, but that seems to have faded out. I think this table it really suits the front breakers. That's when the balls are tight. That is. I don't know if you've seen, I had a bit of an issue with getting the balls tight.
Yeah, it did seem that your break seemed to be a lot less kind than that of Drew's when he came up to the table early on.
I think I still got a ball every time. I think I just put it in the white once. Yeah, just once, I think.
Yeah, just the one foul. And I think Drew, we mentioned with the 3 breaking dishes, but there were 2 dry as well from him. Maybe one of the factors between the 2 of you. Just looking back at that game, I mentioned as it got to the break, it was a bit of a turning point. I don't think you recognise that yourself. It was a bit of a blur out there on the table, but could you see Drew's sort of demeanour diminish a little bit as you were increasing in confidence?
To be honest, I didn't really notice. I was just had to fully make sure I took advantage of his mistakes. So as soon as he's made the mistake, just to fully focus on the table. I didn't even notice the way he walked back to his chair or anything like that. I just knew I had to take the chances.
As you said, Liam, Gavin not wasting any time at all out there on the table.
I'm not so sure about that shot there. I thought he'd have left that ball over there for the ball down the rail. Kind of made it a bigger bag. I thought he took the one in the middle and then the other one in the middle and then played the one down the rail. But he's went a different way here. The white's close. I think he's just off straight in this, so he can just roll through to the side cushion, just short of it. Oh, he's too close to the ball there. The referee will have to watch this close. Let's put it really well. Great shot.
Yeah, just about managed it there, Gavin Robinson, but certainly wasn't easy. It's a very impressive shot from him.
Yeah, really good shot. You just have to, as soon as you hit the white, pull your cue back, so you're kind of jabbing it in rather than cueing it in like every other shot.
And this is Gavin Robinson's recent form outside of the Champions Cup and how far he's reached in each of his competitions. I think he's certainly enjoyed a lot more success in this competition than some of the others on the IPA tour. Quite a few miles trek from, well, a lot of our competitors here tonight. Of course, Drew Hughes from Wales. An hour and a half he said his journey was. Mark Pickworth travelling from Skegness. Gavin Robinson from the northeast of England. And yourself, Liam, just a short trip from Fife?
Yeah, just 20 minutes or so. Nah, it was 4 hours in the car.
And there was me thinking you'd booked a hotel for the night, but I believe that you're...
Yeah, I'm a last minute kind of guy, so I'll probably book one later on.
A bite of the yellow and the red there from that break from Gavin Robinson.
Yeah, so I want to go reds here, I'd say. He's looking at the yellow first shot. I'd have went reds here. So I'm not sure how easy they are in the left centre. I don't think they go anywhere.
Yeah, pretty bunched up as well.
Unless he's looking at planting it off the red in the middle bag, but looks a bit tight to me. Yeah, so he's looking at putting the first yellow on it, the second yellow. Don't think he's actually playing that off the red. I think he's just trying to plant them straight in. It's a tough shot. Oh, he's breaking into them. This is what I mean. You just don't know what shot he's going to take on. He's just plays different patterns to everyone else.
I think whatever decision he makes, he seems to be confident in it.
Yeah, he fully commits to everything he does on the table.
Tap on the knee as well from Mark Pickworth, you'll have seen there in the top left of your screen.
He's not left it perfect there. He's got a couple options here. Could plot this in the middle bag or the corner bag, and then right, so he's taking that in the corner. That must pass the middle then. So if it goes in the middle, which is what he's playing for, then he'll have to screw this on and off the cushion to get behind the black.
Well, certainly keeping the red close company, that cue, but that does not faze Gavin Robinson at all. And just like that, it is a 2-0 lead. The man from the northeast. So now we're on to Mark Pickworth's recent form as well. See that last 16 finish there in the British Professional 2017 in October. But so far, in order to get to this point, pretty comfortable wins, I'd say. Instant Miles Deleuze and also Jimmy Carney in Solihull. That was back in week 13, the week before Gavin Robinson's victories in Sheffield. And yourself, Liam, your match was on the penultimate week of round 64 action. Do you feel better the fact that your game was more recent, or does that pale into insignificance when it comes to tonight?
It's, yeah, quite insignificant. I'd say I kind of played a part when I played my first week, because I had to wait, I think, 14 or 15 weeks to actually finally play my match. I was watching it almost every week, thinking I want that to be me, like, really soon. So I was counting down the weeks, and then it finally came.
Two of the yellows, one of the reds slotted home there from Mark Pickworth. Interestingly about Mark Pickworth, you may have seen on the previous graphic how a lot of his recent matches fell into 2017 compared to Gavin Robinson, who not played for 3 months prior to the Champions Cup. And just got straight back into the swing of things in Solihull in week 13 and dismissed his rivals to get to this point.
Yeah, I think he beat Jimmy Carney to qualify for this stage, is that right?
Certainly was 6-4 in the second round. These two were chatting beforehand. They've met a couple of times before, 1 win each.
That's came out really well there. He's just played that off the ball in the middle bag, and then the ball that he's playing off the middle bag's just kicked down, developed off the cushion. I think it's all down to the black now. I think the black just passes in the bag that he's potting into now. Either that or leave the white where it is, and the black goes in the centre bag. I think that yellow on the black spot there just creeps by that. So we'll find out now what way he's wanting to go. Yeah, so the black must pass that red in the far right bag. It doesn't look like he's got the full bag here though.
I'm not too convinced. Mark Pickworth will have a better view. And there you go. Knew exactly what he was doing. And that is a very emphatic strike into that corner there to half the arrears. Back at 2 frames to 1, still in Gavin Robinson's favour. But it is about those responses. And of course, Liam, your game did not lead until the 5-4 margin. And it is about leading at those later stages. You can be 2-1 up now and it will be very well indeed. But as long as you're in front at the end of the contest, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I just couldn't get in front of him. I don't think, well, only made one mistake in the whole match. Try to play a ball off of a ball to go in, but it's just flicked it and not went in. But other than that, I think I played really well. And took advantage of his mistakes at the later stages.
So we've seen those results there from Solihull in week 13 for Mark Pickworth. Fortunately for him, his day-to-day job, he sets the rotors, so he's managed to get himself off today and tomorrow, regardless of what happens.
Oh, I thought that black was away there.
It was flirting with that side pocket.
It's a dry break though.
And the yellow had to intervene on the cue ball there, coming from that same corner as well.
I think the yellows, well, there's one bad red here. I think that might creep in off the black actually. I don't know if he wants to take this one in the centre bag and either burst into it or land behind it, and it could go the red at the bottom right, as we look here, can go in the far right or off the black in the middle bag. I'd have thought he'd want to get down there really early though, but he's obviously potting a few, making sure he gets down on it first. Well, early should I say. As long as he doesn't leave it till his last ball, then he should be okay. Right, so I think he's potting this ball into the far right and he's screwing down the table to sort of hit the yellow just below the black. I think the red goes in the bottom left. He's going a completely different way. See, I don't really like that, because now he's just opened up the bag for that yellow if he does miss. Whereas had he got down for that red as early as he could, in case you do make the mistake, then he's actually got to work for the frame.
Well, I think we've learnt, Liam, whoever you play out of either of these two in the final, it'll certainly be a bit of a mixed match, that's for sure.
That's what shot I thought he'd played about, what was it, 3-4 shots ago? He wants to try and avoid these yellows here, but it looks like he can't avoid them. He's just going straight into them, stopping on the yellows, making sure he gets clean cueing. Just cue this in just above centre, on and off the top cushion. Fine.
Well, that's perfection from Pickworth. And he's back at all square, 2-2. Managing to get 2 frames on the bounce there and respond to Gavin Robinson in the best possible way. And we're back.
Was that a reverse dish, was it?
It was a reverse dish,
Reverse
yes.
dish.
That's where we started. So you see the 2 6-4 successors for Gavin Robson in Sheffield. It's Jamie Clark and Craig Brown. Pretty tough group that, as they all are, of course, but...
Yeah, Craig Brown actually beat Clint Ianson to get to that stage there, so I think, well, Clint was the seed in that week.
A very grueling match as well against Craig Brown, 6-4, maybe not the prettiest on the eye, but some of the grit to drag himself through to this stage. And of course, here's a big leap from the last 64, where of course you have 16 weeks of competition. Then you come to this part of it, and you're only one night away from the finals night on the 4th of July. Well, the arms outstretched there from Mark Pickworth. I don't think he quite knew what was going on. What's gone so wrong there for him?
No, I think that's why he's putting his hands up. I think he's like, what's going wrong here? Like, I can't get a ball, but he's actually got one there in the centre bag. I don't think he noticed that. Yeah, you see that a lot in pool when somebody gets a dry break, the arms are up in there like, oh, another dry break.
Doesn't look particularly favourable.
I think he'll have to go yellows here, because that red at the bottom left, plus the sort of cluster there at the top left of the reds. So, and the yellows plant up at the top right near the black bag. So he'll just be queuing over the black here, and dropping this in the centre bag, hoping to get on the yellow that is just a bit hit there. I think he was trying to open that up. Don't think he's on a lot here. I think he's going to have to play the plant.
He's tucked in towards the cushion as well, of course.
Unless he can go cushion first and then put the yellow that's nearest the cushion. Yep. So this leaves Gav with all his balls in open. He's only got that one awkward red to develop. He's taking on double first shot.
Will that be Gavin Robinson's final shot of this frame?
Not played that great, but he should still be okay.
Well, that is not the right time for a shot like that. Now Mark Pickworth knows it. Very strange few shots, quite a few mistakes, and not very uncharacteristic.
This should be a routine finish here for Gavin. Yep, he just has to roll this in the far left bag and then roll the one in the left centre.
This cluster of reds looked pretty tricky before, but the whole complexion of this game has changed now. And they're not looking so bad after all.
Yeah, Pickworth has, like Gavin, off the hook in this frame anyway. Just has to screw this past him, middle bag here. A little bit short on it, but I think he'll just pull it back a few inches and then take the cut on the black.
And a terrific Robinson response then. Back to 3-2 in front. And Mark Pickworth will be kicking himself, and he'll have quite a bit of time to reflect on that as well. As we go to our first break of this game, Gavin Robinson leading by 3 frames to 2. We'll be back in a couple of moments' time.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Chester for what is a really gripping game here between Mark Pickworth and Gavin Robinson in the last 16 of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018. And Gavin just avoiding a dry break there with that light knocking with the red. Of course, the winner of this taking on Liam Dunster, who's alongside me for this one. And Liam, how would you assess the first 5 frames so far? It doesn't really seem to have gone into any sort of rhythm yet.
Well, they've both had a breaking dish. I mean, they've both missed pots, but that was actually only in one frame they've missed the pot. So there's been a breaking dish, and there's been a reverse dish, and then there's a bit of a tactical, well, not a tactical frame, there's a few tactical shots played in the frame, and then Gavin's finished it. So there's only been really one frame that they've both messed up on. So it's actually been quite a good match so far.
Mark Pickworth, of course, with the error in that 5th frame.
Yeah, I think Mark made a mistake and then Gavin made a mistake and then Mark made a mistake again, so
Can't be nice going into a 2 or 3 minute break with that lingering over your head. Chance there for him to try and put it right.
I think he's trying to see if the yellow plants, see the yellow and red sort of stuck together, if that plants onto that yellow. If it does, then that just makes the yellows so much easier. I think that's what he's going for now. He didn't think it did, he's just making sure he got the bag there. That's a good shot. Trying the combination shot here. Oh, I thought he was trying to just put the red onto the yellow and put them both in the same bag there. Good shot there, well spotted.
There's quite a few free yellows on that right hand side now, isn't there, to choose from?
Yeah, he's played a really good shot there. He knows that if he didn't even get that pot, the white's kind of relatively safe down this end of the table. He's followed that by playing a shot like that.
Not following the script, unfortunately, on that shot.
I think what Gavin will be looking at, potentially second shot here, third shot, is putting the red straight onto the yellow and then both of them going into that same bag. The red that's exactly on the bulk line. Yep, so he's going to take the red that's next to the yellow first to get slightly closer to it and then play the combination shot. Yeah, so he's relatively straight in it, so it makes it a little bit easier. He's played it well. Play this a couple of different ways here. He could pot the one that's closest to the back cushion and sort of screw to roughly where he is, slightly closer to the cushion. He could pot the red in the middle bag, or he can do the one he's lining up far into the like past the black, into the far corner, and leave that red till last. Or was that third option right there?
So though Gavin Robertson can hear exactly what you're saying, Liam. He's just decided to oppose whatever it is and go for a different shot, but it's been effective.
Yeah, I think you're probably better getting someone else to call what shots he's going to play, because I've just seem to be getting them all wrong. Right, I'll call this one. I'll call he'll put the black in the corner back there. I'm not saying what corner though. Watch this, he'll try and double it in the middle back now.
I'm going to say he's changing tack now. Well, there we go. These frames coming 2 by 2 at the moment. And once again, Gavin Robertson getting back-to-back frames to go 4-2 ahead. Not the first time he's had a 2-frame buffer. Can this time it be enough of a cushion to see him home and dry? So here we see all the results from the last 64. A lot of results. There were a lot of weeks to comprise the results as well. Of course, 16 weeks in total. See Gavin Robertson second from bottom there with that 6-4 victory over Jamie Clark. As you mentioned, Liam in there with Craig Brown and Clint as well. That seems to be the tightest batch of results of the lot. See your success there as well against Mark Fleming 6-2. Does that feel like a long time ago now?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I can't even remember what happened in that match. So he does opt for the side break actually. I mentioned earlier on that no one seems to be going for that, but he seems to be going for the side break and worked really well there.
Hat-trick of yellows. That's a very good haul indeed from Mark Pickworth. Is there enough yellows on the table, if he goes for yellow of course, for him to work with? Regardless of whether he goes for yellow or red, there is more room on the table now to dispose of those three.
Yeah, of course, yeah. If the red goes past the yellow in the right centre back, I think he'll actually go reds here. Because he could just drop that in past the ball and then the black actually goes in off that yellow that the red just squeezes by. Or he can opt for the double. I think he's a little bit short there. I think he's trying to drop this red in the centre back. You can see from that camera angle there that the red does go by that yellow. I think he's messed up there, so I think he's just going to have to tuck up behind that red and snooker him. I think he's just trying to double the yellow there and just sort of claim that back. I think he's just hit it a little bit too hard. And that's what Mark tried to do, just sort of claim that back, but he's kind of glanced off the ball, so it's not quite reached where he wanted it to go.
Well, that yellow on the right centre could be free if you wanted to go for a bit of an ambitious one.
Yeah, Gav's actually got the game on here. or he could just opt to sort of clip that yellow over the bag and make sure he gets it. Surely he wasn't trying to burst into the black there, because there was a chance the black could have went in the middle bag there.
Well, he did raise an apologetic hand after that shot.
Yeah, I think that's to do with the white. Obviously the white was very near going in the middle bag. But the way it's worked out now, we'll have to sort of play the black down the rail.
Again, playing with fire, this time on the opposite middle pocket.
Left himself a tough shot here. He's going to have to cut the yellow back into the corner bag, and the positional side's just natural, stopping on the red.
Well, maybe Mark Pickworth wasn't expecting another opportunity up at the table, but he's got it. And this is his chance to make the most of it. He's been used to chasing this game. Mark Pickworth yet to go in front. And again, let's see, jawing away. And these errors are beginning to add up.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to screw into the yellow to open up the red. That just confirms to me that that red doesn't go up by that yellow ball. Gavin's yellow still goes, so another chance here. Yeah, he's just cutting this yellow into the centre bag, and then the red will automatically just kick onto the black, and the black will come away from the cushion. But it's a bit of a gamble as to where it's going to land. It's queuing over the red here. It's a tough shot.
He's not wasting much time. And he's managed it as well. Gavin Robinson now 5-2 ahead, and all of a sudden he's closing in on a quarter-final spot against Liam Dunster. Wasn't easy, that at all, but he's persevered, and surely now he'll be confident that he will be there in that last 8.
Yeah, I think he's pretty sure himself, and I think Mark knows as well, but he'll still be trying his best to try and get another frame on the board and then another one. Hopefully go to a decider for himself.
What's been the difference in this game so far between the two? Why is it a margin of 3? Because it looks quite emphatic.
It's just, well, Gav has been making the mistakes, but he's just, Mark's been letting him off with the mistakes. So basically Mark's been making the last mistake, which means Gavin finishes and wins the frame. It's not like Gav's dishing everything that's in front of him. He's just, it's just the way that the frames are landing out. Gav's getting the first chance. He's blown it, and then Mark's blown it at the back of him.
And of course, for you as an opponent of one of these two in the next round, it looks like it will be Gavin Robinson. Of course, we don't know that just yet. It all could change, but does this game make you feel more confident or a bit more nervous than you would have been beforehand?
Just the exact same, to be honest. Pool's a sport where you can play the worst pool of your life one game, and then you go into the next match and then you just can't miss.
So yellow into the bottom left there for Gavin Robinson, ideal. Gavin Coyle's extension there. I think something that I noticed you doing, Liam, at the back end of the game when you did get that margin in front, 5-4. It was a case of then just taking it slow, making sure you don't make any rash errors yourself to let your opponent into the game. That almost was one there once again. Robinson just getting away with it. I think he knows that he's getting a bit fortunate.
Yeah, I think that's just my style, to be honest. Just taking my time and make sure I don't make any mistakes. How has that stayed out?
It's not just lady luck on Gavin Robinson's side, it's also the laws of physics as well, it seems.
He's trusted to a bit of luck there as to where the whites landed out. It's worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, gives off a couple of reds there to get it in this position. Must be frustrating for Mark Pickworth though, never getting himself ahead in the game.
Yeah, he's definitely had the chances to. He's just not taking them. Try to stop myself from calling what way he's going to go here, because I know I'll get it wrong.
I've noticed you've been quiet in that sense in the last 10 minutes or so.
Right, so he should just be rolling this in the centre bag and then taking the red that's closest to the centre, take that in the far right as we look in the camera there now.
And the balls are nicely laid out for him as well. I think the fact that you've got two pairs of yellows as well almost rules out two of them. More space around the table, and this should be meat and drink really for Gavin Robinson from here on in. It all seems to have gone by very quickly indeed. Mark Pickworth looking a bit resigned right now to defeat here, because Gavin Robinson has done it. 6-2, never behind in the game, and he will go on to face Liam Dunster later on tonight. Job done really, you have to say, for Gavin at the end of that. And Liam, quickly summarise, just as you look at Gavin Robinson, what you'll be up against in that quarter-final.
You can't really predict it from a different match's stats, to be honest. It'll be a completely different game from that, I think. I think he'll step up his game against me, to be honest. He did make quite a few mistakes there, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we certainly are as well here, and we will be back very shortly with reaction from Gavin Robinson. Make sure you join us for that, and of course the all-important quarter-final here at the Champions Cup 2018 in Chester after this break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Back to Chester for the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018, and we are now onto the quarter-final stage of tonight after Gavin Robinson has defeated Mark Pickworth by 6 frames to 2, and I'm joined by Gavin now. Gavin, you must be absolutely delighted with that performance. Talk to us about your emotions after that.
I just felt good all the way. I felt confident at all times. I just kept chipping away. He come back to 2-all, and I think it was pretty no mistakes at that point. Just a couple of dry breaks, one each, I think, and then I managed to just nick it to go 4-2 up. And I'm thinking one more, and I managed to get over the line. He missed a couple of balls, to be fair, which he could have had a couple more, I think. But it's pool, innit?
You seem to get a good grip on the game early on. Did that calm down any nerves you may have coming into this?
Yeah, I got a better start than last time, I know that. But I felt good all the way through it, to be fair.
And can you take that confidence into the final, do you feel, against Liam? It's going to be a tricky game?
It's always going to be a tricky game, but short races, aren't they, to be fair? If you break well, you've got half a chance, haven't you? So, see what happens.
And you are just one game away now, one win away from finals day on the 4th of July. Were you expecting anything like that at the start of this competition?
Well, I'll just keep chipping away, see what happens.
Well, best of luck and congratulations once again. And of course, Gavin Robinson up against Liam Dunster. Let's see how he got there. Good luck. So there we have it then, our quarter final tonight in the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018. We'll see Liam Dunster take on Gavin Robinson. You can see the 2 scores at the top there as to how they got there. Bit of a slog between Drew Hughes and Liam Dunster. A game of very few errors. And Liam Dunster waiting till late to take the lead at 5-4, but he never looked back afterwards. As for Gavin Robinson, making ultimately very light work against Mark Pickworth. And he seemed to be full of confidence as well. And just talking to Gavin Robinson, Kev, as you join us once again, he just seemed to be, during that interview, just itching to get back out there on that table. He seems to be riding on a wave of momentum right now.
Yeah, it was a great performance there from Gav, and just had a quick word with him afterwards, and he was really delighted how he played. And on the back of that performance, I can see why he can't wait to get into this match and push Liam all the way. It sort of made me feel that this is a very similar match to the first match we saw tonight. Drew and Gav are very similar players, not in styles, but in not in technique sort of thing, but in their styles. They're both attacking kind of players. They'll take that extra risk. So I think for me, if Gavin's going to win this match, he's got to take all his chances. And he's got to break well and give himself those opportunities, but what he can't do is just fall over near the back end of a clearance and just make it nice and easy for Liam. So for me, that's going to be one of the key things to the match. But Liam's playing so solid. He's going to be a tough nut to crack tonight.
Well, buckle yourselves up for this one because it could go all the way. Liam Dunster and Gavin Robinson. Liam was talking to us during the previous game in the commentary box about how in his previous meetings against Gavin he usually got the upper hand. Just the one defeat to him, he says, and 2 or 3 in his favour. Liam with the break there, getting the yellow in the far centre.
I mean, Liam certainly goes into the match as favourite, and you know, rightly so. He's earned that right. But you know, Gav certainly played well in that match. He was doing the scoring at the side, and I was watching very closely. And he was playing at a nice pace. He is a fast player, but he wasn't playing too fast. And yeah, I think if he gets his chances and can take them, he can definitely win this match.
It's incredible how laid back Liam was talking to us in the commentary position, and it's absolutely replicated when he's out there on the table as well.
I'm not sure if that was a foul. Not sure if the referee's called it. But, don't know if we can get a replay of that last shot, but I think if Gavin's playing this yellow, it definitely wasn't a foul.
Bit of a rush there, I think, at the end as well, with the clock counting down.
Yeah, I think that was a foul. So Gav's played a clever shot there. He's not attempted to make the pot, but snookered Liam and trying to force him to pot this one over the rail. So yeah, clever shot there from Gavin, showing that there's you know, another side to his repertoire. But I'm pretty certain that was a foul. It would be great if we can see that in slow-mo. So let's just watch this shot. White, does it hit the cushion before the red? I think it does, which means that's a foul. So good shot there from Liam. He's come out of the snooker and hit one of his reds and hit a cushion afterwards. So played a good shot there. But I think they'll be talking about that one on social media.
VAR, Kev, that's what we need. Make it happen.
Doesn't work very well for football. I'm sure we've got half an hour to spare. Well, I'm sure we've got half an hour to spare to check whether a shot's a foul or not. But that certainly looked to me as if that was a foul shot. And certainly going to be a talking point. Good shot there from Liam. Had quite a big area to play into. Just had to make sure he got the right amount of side on.
It's interesting. Of course, the first couple of games we had tonight, they seemed to set off like a train, the opening frames of them. They did in no time at all, but this is a completely new aspect. As you mentioned, Kev, particularly to Gavin Robinson.
Yeah, both players know that they're one match away, one good performance away from finals night, coming up in 3 weeks' time, and the opportunity to lift the superb trophy that the winner will take home. It's almost within touching distance now. May have been trying to play a skill shot there. Getting a few messages coming through that it was definitely a foul, so the chat has started. But anyway, on we go. That's done. Gav was he was on the attack there and just missed the pot. It's a good attempt. So I think Liam's just got the one problem ball, which is the red and the yellow together. These two here. So he's going to be looking for an opportunity to disturb that cluster. You can get, you can look to get position on it. No, he's playing. I think he's played the safety shot there. So we're already seeing how Liam's approach to this match is. I think he's going to try and get a couple of frames on the board before he does anything that's got the slightest bit of risk attached to it. The problem with that is that Gav is only one skill shot away from opening up this frame. So it's going to be an intriguing battle. The lines have been drawn. I'm not sure if he's got the angle to put this one into the centre and screw the white into this direction. Doesn't necessarily have to play to pot the yellow, pot the red. And he's missed the pot. Wow. Was a little bit careless there. And this is what he can't afford to do in this match.
Yeah, I just feel that Liam Dunster has obviously seen Gavin Robinson in that previous game. I thought if I can drag him to my level of having to play slow and steady, it won't suit him. I can beat him on experience in that sense. And well, he said he's stall out early, hasn't he, Liam Dunster?
Yeah, he's playing risk-free pool tonight. Which is, you know, it's understandable, but he doesn't want to get into too negative a mindset because, you know, that can backfire against you as well. Gav's in a whole world of trouble in this frame. I think he's just got to sort of view this frame as a bit of a write-off. It was Liam's break, so he was second favourite in the frame. Just he's got a few shots under his arm. You never know, he might pull out something, which he has done there. Now he just needs to pull something else out. It's a great double.
Yeah, how many rabbits are in that hat?
Yeah, but the next one will be some shot. I don't think he'll be short of pace on this one. There we go. Just trusting to the lap of the gods there. But bit unlucky where he must have fouled. Didn't see the foul. Liam will just free up this yellow and black. Just looking there to see if the white had just stuck to the black, which would have made this pot impossible, but he must just have enough room to get through. He's just gone a fraction further than he would have liked. And as a result, he's not perfect on this black. He'll be taking it into the bottom right corner. If he misses it, he'll be hoping it just goes over the bag and looks Gav's yellow, but I expect him to pot this. It's there if it's got the pace. It's not got the pace. Wow. So. Well, that was faster in real time than slow motion.
I was just about to say, though, we've got a match worth of entertainment here, right in the first frame.
And you can tell there's early nerves there. So I think Gav will probably try and play this into the top left. He won't be bothered if he pots the black. He'll just be going for the pot and the skill shot. And has he got a chance of the centre? So yeah, he had to put all his eggs in one basket there. He had to go for the double. He knew he couldn't prevent the black being knocked in, but it didn't really matter because he knew if he missed the pot, the black was there to be potted. So so that was an interesting first frame, and just for a minute there, Gavin would have thought that yellow was heading towards that middle bag. Yeah, we can see there that that Liam's a pretty consistent performer on the IPA circuit, and finals, semi-finals, quarter-finals, last 16. He's always there or thereabouts, and as we mentioned earlier, he's had his first success in the pro ranks, winning the World Series event in France last year, where he played absolutely superbly to beat Mark Farnsworth in the final. And since then, he's just gone from strength to strength, as those results show.
Good break from Gavin, 2 yellows and a red. Those yellows, very sporadic indeed.
But he's just going to make sure of this first one. So he's done the hard part. He's potted off the break. He's on the best suit there. He's on the yellows. Now he's just got to hold himself together now and finish the job and get his first frame on the board.
Put up a good fight there, Gavin, in that first frame, but it definitely was the way that Liam would have wanted it to go. A defensive, safe game, complete antithesis from what Gavin likes to implement. This is his time to start to grab this quarter-final by the horns.
It is, but that's a careless one there. He's way out of position. Way out of position. I think he can clip the one into the middle, but he's got to guide that white ball through a lot of traffic. And it's coming round at the wrong angle. That black could get in the way. No, it's not got past the reds. Has he got a gap through those two reds? From his body language, I don't think he does. Oh, he tried to swerve it. It was almost a chance. But he's not left Liam anything easy, so that's his only consolation. So I think what Liam will be looking at here is to he's probably going to be looking at this red here. And just try and bring the white somewhere into this area, just to try and snook a gav on that yellow. And that's played to perfection.
Right up on the cushion as well.
Yeah, giving him very little room to escape. I mean, this is you know, Houdini would have struggled to get out of this one. This looks a great attempt. Oh, that is so unlucky. Judged it superbly off the second cushion, but unfortunately there's a couple of inches offline, in off, and advantage Liam. So pretty routine now, just for Liam, just a matter of taking them out in the right order. Let's take this one into the centre, then maybe just play the plant, easy plant. And the red over the centre bag will be his last red. Put the black into the bottom left corner as we look. So it was a great opportunity from Gavin that he'd worked himself, and that careless positional shot ultimately could cost him. You certainly don't want to be going too many frames behind to a man in form like Liam Dunster.
You just know when Liam's at the table, he's not going to put a foot wrong. And it's just one ball. Let's not forget earlier on against Drew Hughes. He's already shown in the first frame his defensive credentials. An awful long way to go. But I don't think he could have wished for a better start here, Liam Dunster, because he is going to go into a 2-frame lead. There you go, no jinx. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered, exactly what the Dunster ordered. He is 2 ahead.
Yeah, and already Gav Robinson has racked up 4 missed pots in that column. and he needs to halt that, otherwise this match will be over in the blink of an eye. And we can see there Gavin's results over the past sort of 12 months or so, and you know, he's not threatened the latter stages of any of the events, but he's a player on the rise. You know, he's fairly newish into the pro ranks, and he's had some good individual victories, but unfortunately just not managed to progress it into the you know, latter stages of any of the events. But you know, he's lost to Mr. Hibbert a couple of times, Jack Whelan, all world champions, Ben Davis, another world champion, Mark Farnsworth, the pro #1. So it's you know, he's in good company. He's you know, some close matches there. 8-7 to Gareth Hibbert, 7-5 Ben Davis, 7-5 Jack Whelan. So you know, he's one of these players that on his day can beat anyone. He just needs to build a bit more consistency into his game, and you know, he could start threatening for titles.
Well, in that 6-2 victory against Mark Pickworth, came into this game, we were saying, of course, that's the most recent match we've had tonight. There was some real momentum there for Gavin Robinson, and Liam Dunster, really prudently, I think, has just completely derailed that momentum now, and it feels like a completely fresh slate for Gavin Robinson.
Yeah, Liam doing what he needs to do to get to finals night. He's not going to be bothered about whether he has 6 breaking dishes or no breaking dishes. He just wants to get that get to 6 before his opponent, and not have to worry about anything else.
Well, I read there in either of the right-hand corners as we look at them now.
It looks like reds are his only option here. He could clip this one into the top left corner, maybe nudge into the one that's on the rail. The only problem with that shot is he's not guaranteed position on his next red. Doesn't need to move it, you know. These guys are quite confident knocking them up the rail. But, it'll just depend which side of that red. When he puts the red into the right, into the top left corner, where the white is going to hit that red. He's got a plan. You'd expect to get. We'll just have to play it with a little bit of pace, so that once that first red has hit the second, and it goes onto the heads towards the cushion, that it's got enough pace to bounce 3 or 4 inches off the cushion. That's gone a little bit too far. So he's got a little bit to think about here. Sure of the angle. I wonder if he can play the red off the yellow into the right corner. I think that's the shot that he's looking at, because it guarantees him position. That's what he was looking at. I think he was running out of time there, so he was under a little bit of time pressure. It was the harder shot, but it would have guaranteed him position. So that's why he thought it was worth the risk. Oh God, that's a little careless. You might have got away with it. but he looks a completely different player from the first match. I mean, he looks very edgy now. You know, in the first match he was playing at a nice pace. He was stroking the balls in nicely, and all of a sudden he's a bit jumpy. He's up on the shot really quickly, and missing the pots more importantly. Crowd watching in anticipation. So Gav's got to be a little bit careful here now. You fancy that if it gets down to a tactical battle that Liam is probably the favourite. What can Gavin pull out? He tried the safety. I think he's covered the bag. Red might sneak past. Like he's powering this in. Oh, that's a little bit unlucky. He's potted the two reds, but absolutely no benefit to him whatsoever. Yeah, total, yeah, just about. That wall of yellows there. So Gav has now gone an absolute huge favourite in this frame. What can he conjure up here? Well, it's a great hit. It's a great hit there. Tremendous escape there from Liam. And even though Gavin's got all these yellows on the table and Liam's got one, the pressure has just turned around in that one shot. He did well to pot that, to be fair. I think he can put this one into that pocket there. He likes something a little bit easier. He knows there's extra pressure on. I think the bottom of those two yellows that are stuck together goes into the centre. He's going to have to play that now. Things just getting a little bit tricky here for Gav.
This is really not the pace of game that he's used to either.
I think it'd have been better trying to screw back off that one. So now he's either got to play a safety shot, or he's got to take this yellow nearest to black into this bottom right hand corner, which is obviously a tough shot. And his match and his evening could rely on this next shot. He's playing safe. But it does give Liam a faint hope. He could come off either rail. He's got options. He could come off this way, try and put that into there, or he could come off this way and try and clip that back into there. Both difficult shots, but it's more of a chance than he had 30 seconds ago. And well, he'll settle for that, definitely. And that's the problem when you don't take the clearances out and you give people shots that they shouldn't get. Things happen. And now the pressure's right back on Gavin. He has got a shot, but this isn't easy. This is not easy at all. Yeller off the rail, off the left-hand rail, in off the red. But this requires great accuracy and cueing, and he's played it well. But look where the red's gone. It's just not getting any easier for him. I think we'll see Liam attempt something here. There's no value in just rolling up to this yellow, in red. Sorry. I think he's going to have to look at a back double. Don't think he can double it into this bottom left as we look. Don't think he's got that angle. I'm surprised at that shot. Not one of Liam's best. That. It's a great chance for Gavin now. Oh, and he's missed the pot. Unforgivable misses here. So Liam can either go for the clip, or he must be tempted for a double into this bottom right corner. Looks like he's got a big bag. It looks pretty straight double, doesn't have to do too much. There it goes, straight into the pocket. Great shot. Shot 110%. Tremendous block there. Appreciated by the crowd. 3-0 Liam, and he's going to be a tough man to beat now.
Yeah, it's an awful long way back, isn't it, for Gavin Robinson. Liam Dunster just really dictating the pace of the game, isn't he? Everything going his way. Of course, we can see the previous two results before tonight. 6-2 over Mark Fleming, 6-4 Mark Boyle. Same scoreline, of course, we know now against Drew Hughes earlier on tonight. This is very much a different type of game. Marathon, not a sprint, I think is the right cliche to use for this one.
Yeah, and Gavin's had his chances, and we said at the start of the match that the only way he could win this match was to take his chances, and he's got 6 missed pots against him after 3 frames, and you're just not going to beat Liam Dunster with a stat like that. But he's still got time. He's still got time to turn it around, but he's got to start with this frame. He's got the break. It's a good break. He's got a ball in. He's got his hand on the table. So that's the first part of the equation. He can pretty much go for either colour. Well, it's a bit more difficult of an opening pot, but the Reds look pretty good. So he's got to settle into this match and just take his chances now. So I think the red nearest the ball line, I think that goes into that top right hand corner as we look. It's nicely played. Again, you see his action is so much different to Liam's. Everyone's got different ways to play the game. Gav's jumping around. Liam's very solid, very steady, stays down on the shot, whereas Gav is the complete opposite. That's the beauty of the game. It's a good positional shot. This could be the key to the frame, this next shot. Can he get back into this match? He's played that well. Can he get onto that red? What has he done? Don't think he can.
Just a smidgen, isn't it?
Can he?
Either way.
Yeah, he's getting straight down on it. Oh, he's played it well. He's got a little bit of work to do. I think that clips in. He's okay. Where's the white going? He's okay. He's on the board.
Well, there's a big relief.
One in the break and dish stat. Will that settle him down a bit? Yeah, and that's Gavin's route to this quarter-final match. Good battles with Jamie Clark and his fellow northeasterner Craig Brown, and then, as we saw earlier on, pretty good performance, it has to be said, against Mark Pickworth. What he'd give for that sort of form again now.
Exactly, a completely different game this, and of course Gavin Robertson coming through a very difficult group on week 14 in Sheffield to even get to tonight. Victory over Mark Pickworth, one of the quickest we've had. But I think the stat about the break conditions, that being the first one of the game, it's no surprise at all. It really has gone like that, and it'll be interesting to see if the pace changes at all. I don't think it will do, and I don't think Liam Dunster will complain about that one bit. You just feel like Gavin Robinson needs to inject that sort of rock and roll pull that he's so used to implementing.
Yeah, and he's made the best start to that by that break and dish. Wasn't textbook, but he got the job done. That's all that matters. And you know, we say it every match, every week. It's all about getting that first frame on the board, and once that happens, anything can happen.
I think if Gavin Robinson wants to get back into this game, to start thinking about booking a hotel tonight, it'll be a late finish if he does turn it around.
It's another good break from Liam. Yeah, he's going to like the look of those yellows. Potted a red, but he'll be weighing up those yellows. All nice and out in the open. And this is where he's so good, just at plotting his path, working out the best route that gives him the least amount of problems. Ooh, I think that's rock back. I think that black just rocked back onto the red, stopped him playing the plant. Just didn't have enough momentum to make the black have a little turn, and the black just rolled back onto it. But he's got the safety net. He's got two yellows over the bag, so no problem. We'd like the white to have come past that yellow to take the yellow into the same bag. So that might prove a bit more trickier, a bit later on in this clearance. Got less of an area to play position on it. But he'll be just looking to the top end of the table first before worrying about that. Yeah, it was a very un-Liam Dunster-like clearance, and only potted a couple of balls, but wasn't played with his usual accuracy. So hands the table back over to Gavin. Nothing overly easy. He could possibly play this this red into that pocket there, and the white could have glanced off the yellow, but anyway, he's played the other one into the centre. Where's the white going?
Well, Gavin Robinson tonight's got away with a couple of those sort of moments where the Q has just managed to stay in play. That time, though, Lady Luck wasn't on his side. An agonising drop.
Yeah, it was only a centimetre or so out of being perfect there. He played to screw the white back and off the left-hand cushion onto the black. If it had hit the black full in the face, it would have left the red nearest the black spot into the left corner, but just didn't quite judge it right, unfortunately. And just when you thought Liam was just going off the boil a tiny amount, Gavin hands the table back over to him and stops his momentum dead in its tracks.
Well, it looks like there's daylight now, doesn't it, for Liam Dunster in this frame?
Expect there to be 3 frames of daylight after this visit.
At what point does Gavin Robinson look at this game and think, to hell with the consequences, let's just go and end on a high?
Well, I think he's trying his best to play his own brand of pool. It's just a couple of mistakes here and there, and you know, obviously Liam is rock solid, and the two things combined are making it a very one-sided final.
See the contrast of demeanours there on that shot with the two in picture. And that is it. That is the 3-frame cushion that Liam Dunster would have wanted. He's got it 4-1 now. He leads over Gavin Robinson. And you look at those statistics there. It is the mistakes, really. 6 mixed pots for Gavin Robinson, the 4 for Liam Dunster. But the crucial number 4 is at the bottom there. 4-1 to the Scot. We'll be back with the concluding moments of this game after this break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Chester, the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018, and we're at the quarter-final between Liam Dunster and Gavin Robinson. You can see the route to this quarter-final from tonight, two of the earlier games that feel an awful long time ago now. We've only had 5 frames of this quarter-final, but they've lasted probably the length of the previous 2 games, almost combined so far.
Yeah, I think we were treated in the first 2 last 16 matches because they were both pretty quick, really high standard, lots of breaking and dishing, which is what we want to see. And the final has taken a slightly different turn, and it's been Liam who's controlled the event, controlled the match. He's 4-1 up, it's been played at his pace, and he's completely in control in this match.
Yeah, really frustrating times for Gavin Robinson, but I wonder if that little break in proceedings there is a chance for him to recollect his thoughts and give it a right good go. And the break is managed to yield 1 yellow in the top left there. And the foundations to build on to mount a miraculous comeback.
Well, yeah, he's going to take a look at these reds, I think, now. But again, he's got to take advantage of these chances. He cannot afford to make any more mistakes in this match if he wants to take his place on finals night.
Reminder, of course, that finals night is on the 4th of July, live on Freesport TV as ever, coming from Solihull.
Independence Day.
Absolutely. There'll be fireworks in America and Solihull that night, I'm sure.
So I think I've just got a little bit of a kick there, so he's just asking our referee, Viv Rusko, just to that white ball. A little bit of a clean. She delicately removes her marker. That's worked out absolutely fine. Again, it's just about finishing the frame off. Keeping control of that white ball. And trying to take the balls out in as close to the right order as possible. That's the one of the difficulties about this game, because the balls are not numbered. You don't. There's no preset order of which way to take them out in, and that can often be the factor that separates out the elite players from very good players. Making sure that they take them out in exactly the right order, just to minimise risk and make the job as easy as possible. Surely that red must go in there. He must have checked that before he played this shot. His previous shot. Looks like it goes. If it doesn't, he'll have to play the one at the bottom right as we look now and spin it round off 2 cushions with a bit of left-hand side. So if this is straight, so he's got to screw back somewhere towards the middle bag. And this is it's a good response from Gavin, showing he's got plenty of fight in him left yet. So exactly what he needed, good break and dish, and the 2 frames he's won have been breaking dishes.
Absolutely, which I think says a lot as well. Whenever Liam doesn't get involved in play, it's fine for Gavin. But there we go, as the clock strikes an hour. Straight after the break, Gavin Robinson managing to half the arrears at 4-2. Now, of course, this at the moment is how the complexion of the competition looks. Just Scott Gillespie in that semi-final. So far, Liam Dunster would love to join him and make it, at the moment, an all-Scott looking field.
Yeah, we've got some 2 cracking weeks as well coming up. Ronan McCarthy, John McAllister, Lee Warren, the qualifier against Jason Rimington. Next week in Solihull on Tuesday. That's going to be a fantastic night down in Solihull. Lee, certainly, as the local boy, will have plenty of support there. And then the final night of qualification, the following Monday, 2 weeks tonight. David Addinall from the Isle of Man against Toby Bolt, who beat world champ Ben Davis. And the winner of that will play another mouth-watering match. 2 ex-world champions, 2015 world champion Jack Whelan, and he'll be taking on 2017 world champion Craig Marsh. And then we all head to finals night, just in over 3 weeks' time, where we'll see our inaugural Champions Cup champion crowned.
It's really come up very quickly, this latter stage of the competition, after, of course, the 16 weeks we had of round 64 competitions, and all of a sudden, the winner tonight, straight into the finals.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end now. It's been fantastic 18 weeks so far, and 3 more great weeks to come. It's notable on the breaks that Liam is bringing that white back up the table a lot more centrally than he was in his last 16 match against Drew, where the white was threatening either of the corner bags nearly on every break. So he's obviously corrected that little technical glitch that he was plagued by in that match. There's a couple of times when the white on another day would have gone in, and it could have been a different result in that match. But that's pool sometimes. It's a little nudge and a little knuckle here and there that can make the difference. So his obvious problem is the red that's next to the black.
Well, I thought that may have put him off from going for the reds there. Of course, you've got the problem with the yellow as we look to the right of the table as well, but he's gone for the reds. Methodical as ever.
Yeah, and he's left himself the perfect angle to pot this one into the bottom left as we're looking now. Just to kiss the white onto the black and red, and knowing that he's going to leave himself the red into the top centre as we're looking on screen. So it's very well thought out. It's not just about developing the ball, it's about making sure that you leave yourself on a pot afterwards. That's all he needed to do, just to nudge it. So I think it goes in that top left corner as we look. Certainly goes into the bottom centre. So he's got a couple of options. Just 3 balls away from putting himself 1 frame away from finals night and a match against fellow Scott Gillespie.
Well, Liam was saying that him and Scott have played each other an awful lot. Something like a month doesn't go by without them having 1 or 2 games against one another, so that'll be a fascinating contest, because of course a lot of these players on the IPA circuit, they're well aware of one another, they're good pals, but they don't necessarily play on the frequent basis that the Scottish pair that looks as though will be facing each other in the next round have done, and it makes it all the more intriguing. So Liam Dunster here with a black ball. If he gets it, it's advantage him for that place on finals night in Solihull on the 4th of July.
There it goes, and what a time to get your first break and dish of the match, to put yourself within 1 frame of the final. And a match up against Scott Gillespie for a place in the Champions Cup final.
I just can't imagine him playing a game and looking rattled. It surely has happened on 1 or 2 occasions, but he just looks so relaxed.
Yeah, I thought he looked a little bit nervous in the opening frame in this match. You could tell with his facial expressions that he was feeling it a little bit. And but you know, he's only human at the end of the day, and he's certainly in cruise control now. All Gavin can do is just focus on this break, try and do what he's done twice before, and break and dish. And you know, 5-3, you just never know. You just never know in this game.
Right now, is Gavin Robertson going to be looking at this game and thinking he's becoming up a better opponent, or is he going to be kicking himself for some of the earlier errors?
Well, I think he's certainly had his chances. You know, the miss. Where's the white going? Oh, it was heading towards the bag. It was looking like an agonising slow death there with that white heading towards the bag, but fortunately it was stopped by yellow, and put a yellow from the break. So at least he's back at the table, but neither colour is very appealing. So you just know in this situation that Liam Dunster would be playing a really good safety shot to keep control. And it's going to be interesting to see what Gav does, and we can see from the fact that he's continued to keep potting that he's going to continue to attack. That's worked out quite nice. Could be awkward queuing, but he's got a chance to put this one into this bottom corner bag and just rest the white onto the yellow to leave himself the one on the rail into the same bag. But still plenty of work to do. That was a good pot. Just to get the white into this sort of area. position on his last ball. No, he can't. Played that with a lot of left hand side to try and keep the white away from the black and to get some sort of position on that red. And his last red unfortunately missed the pot, and this is an opportunity for Liam, and the way he's been playing you can only see one result. They'll possibly look to put this one into the top left corner now and just screw the white down onto this yellow nearest the centre bag just to try and develop it. Well, that's not come out too well, just knocking one of his yellows onto the side rail. So he'll just be working out whether he wants to try and move those on the rail or whether he wants to try and play a double at some point. He's got a couple of options. If at some point he could get the white sort of in this sort of area, then he could put this one into there. And you see the difference there. Liam just completely taking control of the frame, taking no risks. You know,
Well, he wasn't lying, was he, Liam, when he said he's patient? He really does not mind how long a frame takes, as long as he wins it at the end.
As long as he gets the job done, yeah, that's all he's bothered about. And he's going to look to get this white right in behind this yellow. He's got to make sure he gets it right, though. I think he might be a bit short there. I think Gavin can pot this one into the right middle. Not easy. Needs that white to slow down. Oh, it got well, it got. If it hadn't have kissed the yellow, he probably would have been snooker behind the black. It kissed the yellow, and which held the white, but actually has left him Chinese snookered. This is an awful shot to have to play. And even if he pots it, he's only got a double on the black. That's gone. It's gone all wrong. So we're going to see Liam just screw back a couple of inches. Might even try and nudge this one over the middle, just like that. Not sure if it's fully got over the middle bag. Doesn't look like it. Well, that's a foul. Just clip the yellow first, and that could be Gavin Robinson's last shot in the 2018 Champions Cup.
I mean, you talk about fine margins there. Gavin's now elected to take his seat. It's just a shame he's not really been able to show exactly what he can do in this game.
Yeah, we saw it in his match against Mark Pickworth. Played very well, but it's just not been allowed really to get into that same rhythm, and that was pretty much dictated to from frame one when Liam set out his stall, and he was prepared to play whatever shot he thought necessary to win the match and to win the frame. So he's controlled the match. He's missed very little. He's been rock solid as usual, and he's going to be a deserved winner in 3 pots time.
He came into this on paper as overwhelming favourite, and maybe a little bit of pressure on him because of that, but a lot of the top seeds have failed to avoid the banana skins in recent weeks. So, make no bones about it, Liam Dunster has done an incredibly professional job tonight to get out of the hurdle that was Drew Hughes, of course, in the first game, 6-4. And this one is made to look even more comfortable. And one thing I'd say about the game against Drew Hughes, he didn't quite get off to the perfect start. The Welshman was in good form, but in this game, right from the off, it has all been about Liam Dunster, who is now trying to get the job done. And there we go, 6-2 for Liam Dunster. He will be back on finals day on the 4th of July in Solihull. Deserved winner ultimately against Gavin Robinson, who certainly dazzled over the course of the tournament, but just a game 2-4 ultimately. And there we have the final stats from it. And you can see Gavin Robinson, the 2 frames he won, both on the break and dish. Just the one needed for Liam Dunster, but overall consistent during the match. And we'll be back with reaction with the Scot after this very short break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Well, for the final time tonight, welcome back to Chester. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018 has its winner for week 2 of the round 16, and it is Scotland's Liam Dunster, who has beaten Gavin Robinson by 6 frames to 2. Congratulations once again, Liam. How did you feel the game went overall?
Quite comfortable, to be honest with you. A lot more comfortable than my first match anyway. Yeah, I was just happy the way I was playing, breaking really well.
It seemed like right from the off you were dictating the whole pace of the game. Gavin Robinson, someone who likes to get round the table very quickly, but you seem to derail that sort of momentum.
That's just what I do. I just take my time every shot that I get. 45 seconds, that's more than enough. So.
We were just speaking off air that you only got the one breaking dish. You seemed quite surprised by that. What was the key ultimately then to win that game?
I thought I broke dish more than that, but obviously not. No, I was breaking really well. I got a ball every time, so I had 4 breaks there, and like I say, I was breaking really well. That's why I just thought I'd broken dished more than once, but I might not have. But yeah, like I say, happy with them breaking.
So next stop for you now is finals day, 4th of July in Solihull, where you'll be up in the semi-final against Scott Gillespie, someone you know very well. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Semi-final time, yeah.
And what are you expecting from Scott?
Just the usual, breaking dishes, reverse dishes, just much similar to what you've seen there.
Once again, congratulations, well done, and we'll see you on finals day. And let's have a bit of a recap of how you got there. So there we are then, that victory for Liam Dunster by 6 frames to 2 against Gavin Robinson in the quarter-final tonight. 2 previous games were a complete contrast, Kev, and really excitable games as well.
Yeah, we've had some great action tonight. The first 2 last 16 matches were breaking dishing for fun, but when we got to the final, things got a little bit more serious, and you know, Liam showed his class. Completely bossed the final and deserved winner 6-2 on the night. So well played, Liam, and he'll be back in for finals night in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think Liam summed it up in that interview there just before the montage of his victory by saying that's just what I do. He slowed the game down. Gavin Robinson never really got into his rhythm. He got the 2 back-to-back breaking dishes, of course, just after the interval did Gavin Robinson, but it was never really enough to kickstart any sort of comeback that would put the Scot under any danger. Now, of course, we've still got a couple of weeks to go before we find out our full set of semi-finalists in Solihull on the 4th of July. And one of them 4 next week in Solihull will be joining Scott Gillespie and also Liam Dunster. We will wait and find out with great anticipation. A reminder, of course, it is next Tuesday and not Monday. So next Tuesday we'll be in Solihull for the third stage of last 16 group games. But for now, from Chester, from Kev Barton and Jonathan Bell, it's goodbye.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.